What comes to mind when you think of Mexico? Mexicans. Yellow filter. Sepia tone. At first I was like, I don't remember these words from Spanish class, then I realized I am an idiot. Sepia in Spanish means cuttlefish, but sepia tone or colorfiltro sepia is the same as sepia tone in English. G'day. Tacos. I've been questing Earl for years now to get the taco with the real taste of Mexico. Every new quest is met with flavors untold. And the sides. I've gained so much, but mostly just a rocking dad bod taco belly. Forget Taco Tuesdays. Tacos for life. Every day is Taco Tuesday. You don't have to stop at tacos though. Mole Mondays, huevos ranchios, Wednesdays tamale, Thursdays flautas, Fridays smothered burrito, Saturdays enchilada, Sundays. There is this soup I had at someone's house in the middle of nowhere in Mexico and I think about it all the time. It had hominy and pork and it was red but not tomatoes. I think it was some kind of pepper broth. It was so good and I will never forget it. Edit. Wow guys, it looks like I'm on a quest now and I have the first clues. Thank you. I'm excited to try to make my own, and I'll make sure to skip the Rachel Ray recipe lol. Pozole? Yeah, sounds like pozole. 100% it's pozole, and not birria, which is also red. Homini's the giveaway. Bone Thugs and hominy. Mexican flag and a glass bottle Coke. Mexican Coca-Cola is just better. I put mine in the freezer last night. It was too late by the time I remembered. I am pain. Rookie mistake, you're supposed to pour one into the ice cube tray. Avocados from Mexico. Funny story about that ad is that, at least in California, it reduced sales of avocados from Mexico. It brought to people's awareness that some avocados were imported, so people started buying the USA avocados instead lol. You get a choice of avocados? We get either a sad pile of swishy ones, or a pile that won't be ripe for 3 weeks. The shape of the country in a map. I'm not very good at geography or recalling shapes, but Mexico has a very distinct one. One state in Mexico, San Luis Potosí, is shaped like a schnauzer dog. And Zacatecas is kicking it in the throat. Zacatecas is a chameleon kicking San Luis. As someone from Zacatecas I can confirm it lol. Tacos and cheap prescription drugs. Cheap prescription tacos. Drug cartels. And corrupted authorities. Being 100% Mexican, my family has drilled into my head that all of the police there are ducked. That's my first thought thinking of Mexico too. Dia de los Muertos. I recently found out Mexicans actually call it Dia de Muertos. Only in the US it includes lost due to the way it translates from Day of the Dead. The dominant effect on world culture also makes the US understanding of Mexican culture spread to the rest of the world. Even in Spain, Colombia, and Venezuela, I've seen Mexican food mean Ortega taco shells and Dia de Muertos listed as Dia de los Muertos. You just made me realize I have no idea what Colombian and Venezuelan native dishes are like. But yeah, apparently if you ask for sauce in a Mexican restaurant in Spain you'll be given ketchup. How the Spanish didn't acquire any taste from their centuries of colonial adventures is beyond me. The flag, which I think is a cool one, the yellow filter meme, and good food. Zihuatanejo, it's a little place in Mexico on the Pacific Ocean. You sound like a man who knows how to get things. Get busy livin' or get busy dyin'. Tequila. Axolotls. Now it would be funny as hell to edit the axolotls with drug cartels, cheap prostitutes or stuff like that, just to mess with 1,000 people that like my comment. But I'm not an asshole. Not so much at least. Corner home stores. Blew my mind that people opened up a store in their living room or kitchen. Or OXXO, got all my snacks there edit, thanks for the love. Glad this resonated with everyone. I spent my summers in Mexico visiting family and those stores were my lifeline. Loved everything about it and would never trade it for anything. Those little stores were the best growing up. I would spend almost every weekend as a kid in Juarez. I'd get 10 pesos, walk to the tiendita and get like 5 snacks. Best food on the planet. I live in Colorado. I always thought the Mexican food here was incredible. I recently became good friends with a gentleman that lived in Mexico for the first half of his life. He won't eat at the Mexican restaurants here because it is nothing like the good food he gets back home. So I can only imagine the level of the food there. I live in San Diego. On nearly every street there's a Mexican restaurant that's family owned and uses their own family recipes. What's especially funny is that they all follow the same naming scheme. Old Mexican guy name, taco shop. Silva's, Ochoa's, Juan's, Alberto's. My favorite place has the owner, his son, and grandson all working there. I collectively call San Diego Mexican joints the Bertos. Elote. Bruh, you don't understand how duckin' psyched I was when 2 different elote men, and women, started doing business on DoorDash in my city. I don't give a shit that it's like $6 delivery charge. I'd probably spend that much in gas trying to find one. Coco. Probably the only movie that made me sob like a baby in a packed theater. I cry every ducking time I watch that movie. My parents. La chancla. My mom's favorite weapon. The accuracy is astounding. Unbelievably beautiful deep blue crystal clear water-filled sinkholes in the Mayan Riviera. Cenotes. I visited Mexico for the first time to attend a friend's wedding. It was September and holy hell, I had not, before or after, ever experienced that kind of heat. Over 100 degrees plus humidity. It was hard to be outside even for 5 minutes between the hours of 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. without wanting to take a shower immediately afterwards because you were drenched in sweat. Thank God the wedding took place at sunset because we stayed inside as much as we could to avoid the heat otherwise. So we'll always remember Mexico for the extreme heat and humidity and never, ever again visit there in September. Edit, the city was Cabo San Lucas. You know, it's funny, because having grown up in Mexico City the first time I ever experienced unbearable heat and humidity was after moving to Washington, D.C. Were you in the north? Agree. D.C. heat is oppressive and quietly violent. I've always maintained that if I were an English immigrant in D.C. during the colonial era that on the first day of summer I'd have packed everything up and gone back. I genuinely don't understand how my Irish, Scottish, and English ancestors wound up in Georgia. I have pondered this many times. They must have gotten lost. Mexican Coke and chickens for some reason. Bruh, I live in Guadalajara, second largest city, and the city is super urban and modern, like really modern in most parts, and yet, chickens, horses, cows and goats roam around the whole city and everyone just accepts it like a normal everyday thing. That's wild. Sounds cool as hell. Aztec pyramids. There are a lot of pre-Hispanic civilizations that took place in Mexico long before the Aztecs. Some even defeated the growing Aztecs, Mexicas, before they became the empire they are recognized for. An interesting fact about the Aztecs compared to other civilizations is that it is not well known their exact origin. It is known that they came from some part of the north of Mexico. They claim to be the chosen ones to rule the Valley of Mexico, so apparently they destroyed every evidence of their past, maybe to hide a more humble and poor origin of the group. Se compra a, lavadora as, microonda as, refrigeradora as, colchones. El panadero con el pan, voy que me estoy peinando. Mariachi bands. Forza Horizon 5. Best holiday ever. Met up with friends we met the year before in the south of France in San Luis Potosi. Stayed with their families for a week, grandma made breakfast every morning and we played domino with her every evening. When we left we gave her a book about the Netherlands, written in Spanish and tears were flowing. Traveled another 2 weeks starting in Mexico City and going to Veracruz, Palenque, Oaxaca, Puerto Escondido and back to Mexico City. Never met friendlier people than Mexicans and the food. Oh my god, so food. Again. Best holiday ever. Fruit. My husband pretty much never shuts up about all the wonderful fruit his family had when he was growing up. Avocado, 4 different citrus on one tree, papaya, loquats, mangoes, tuna, guayaba, mamey, pitaya, and pomegranate. Tuna fruit? Edit, yep, tuna fruit. In Spanish, Terry's tuna fruit and fish tuna is called ATN.